welcome to The Peace of Persistence. I'm your host, Abigail Wright, and today we get to spend some quality time with one of the most balanced people I have ever met. A native of Riverside, California, Nicholas Pallesen is not your ordinary opera baritone. Sure, he's a graduate of the Juilliard Opera Center and a former grand finalist winner of the Metropolitan Opera National Council auditions, and you can see him on their documentary, The Audition. He's won tons of awards. You can hear him at the Met, where he sings on their roster, and in several major roles in opera companies all around the world, including the English National Opera, Santa Fe Opera, and Oberkön. But what's most unusual about Nicholas is, other than his success in opera, his training in clinical hypnosis, performance psychology, mind-body medicine, life coaching, and neuro-linguistic programming, along with 13 years of working with clients in the field. His unique combination of performance experience and his extensive mental skills training make him a highly sought-after, board-certified hypnotist for performing artists. Nicholas is a trusted and respected practitioner for a wide range of clients, including established professionals at some of the top symphonies and opera companies around the world. And he's even helped me prepare for auditions in a way I never dreamed was possible. He's a dynamic presenter as well, and he's a frequent guest lecturer at some of the top conservatories in the US. And he's also a guest faculty member at Wolf Trap Opera, among other opera festivals. Nicholas, I'm just so grateful to have you here. I've always wished that I could kind of have you in my back pocket to share some words of wisdom. So I'm really glad that you decided to share yourself with us today.
Thanks for having me here. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's good to be here.
So I've always wondered, I know that you work with a lot of singers and performers in general, especially on issues like anxiety. Before you started hypnosis yourself, did you ever deal with any of those problems?
Oh, absolutely. You know, have you ever heard the joke that people who get into the helping profession get into it because they're trying to work out their own crap?
Sure.
I mean, that's exactly what happened to me. I grew up in Southern California, outside of LA, and growing up, I grew up in what you would call, to put it very gently, a dysfunctional home. I grew up dealing with a lot of abuse in my home, a lot of physical, emotional, all sorts of abuse, and really struggled a lot with anxiety, struggled with depression, struggled with a lot of challenges. And
wow, I would never have known.
A lot of people say that, you know, and I thought that I could get out of my house and go to school and escape it. And unfortunately, it was something that I dealt with a lot there too. Because I dealt with a lot of the issues at home and I dealt with a lot of the issues at school, I had really, really terrible performance anxiety. And when I talk to people about it and I say terrible performance anxiety, I mean my legs would shake just uncontrollably, okay? I would throw up. Like almost before every performance, I would throw up because I was just had felt so nervous and forget the words, always forget the words. I'd start shaking, just uncontrollably and just have all these panic attacks of quick breathing and such. And, I had gone to therapy. I had been on all sorts of medications. I had, tried all these other things and nothing had really been successful. And so I thought, gosh, hey, let me give it a try. I've done everything else. So I went and I did some hypnotherapy sessions. And I did a few sessions, and over the course of the sessions I learned some techniques that I could use on my own that literally changed my life. Because in the course of those sessions, I was able to completely take control of my anxiety. The depression that I had been feeling went away. I was able to get off of all the medications that I had been on. And to this day, 18 years later, I'm still off of all of that, and all my stage fright went away.
That's wonderful.
And so, and quite frankly, there were a couple of times in my life when I was younger that there were 2 times in my life that I was very, very close to committing suicide, and this work completely brought me out of that kind of pit of despair or whatever, and so I tell people that hypnosis not only changed my life, but I feel like it saved my life.
That's huge.
Yeah.
You have a lot of training. Do you ever work with clients just as a life coach or otherwise without hypnosis?
No, I do hypnosis with every person that I work with. And the reason for that is because I've just found Through all of my training and all of my experience, I found that hypnosis is the most efficient and effective means that I've encountered for helping people make changes in their life. Most of the traditional models of traditional therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, life coaching, performance psychology, all of those areas basically follow the model of creating the change on the conscious level. They work on the conscious mind. Whereas with hypnosis, we just do this. We just move that barrier aside so that all the suggestions can get into the places where they need to go to help you make change a lot faster, a lot more efficiently, and a lot easier. So that's why I do hypnosis with everybody. Because, you know, life coaching is great. There's a lot of great elements of life coaching that I incorporate into my work. There's a lot of great elements of CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, performance psychology, all these other modalities that I incorporate into my work, but I prefer to work on the unconscious mind because that's where you're really going to make the change, and that's where you're going to create the lasting change. You know, versus just kind of putting band-aids on things, you'll actually be able to help people create new habits, create new responses from the ground up, so that you're really addressing the problem rather than treating the symptoms. And because you're building it from the ground up, those new changes, those ways that you want to be, have a chance to really take root. They can take root and grow into something much more powerful. So yeah, every client that comes into my office, we're doing hypnosis.
You connect with people for a living all of the time. How has that level of connection changed you as a person?
I feel like I live a much richer life now because I love people and I love connecting to people, and I feel like this work that I do has allowed me to connect to people in a way that I never thought was possible.
That's wonderful.
And so I think that being able to be around so many different types of people, so many different types of personalities, so many different ways of doing problems and solutions to those problems has now just helped me feel so much richer. I tell people all the time, I'm happier than I've ever been in my life. And what's funny is that that's constantly changing. So, you know, 6 months ago, I would have told you the same thing. I'm happier than I've ever been. Now I'm happier than I was 6 months ago. You know, and it's cool that I feel like it just continues to grow and grow like that. And I think that a big part of it is being able to really deeply and richly connect with people and take that journey with them to help them get out of their own way. And as I'm taking that journey with people, I feel like I'm learning so much about my own journey and my own path. I tell people all the time, I feel like my clients teach me more than I think I teach them. They inspire me. I see so much courage coming in through the office that it's like, you can't help but be inspired at what people are bringing in and where they go with the work and on their journey. So yeah, so I feel like it's been richly rewarding to be able to have those experiences with other people.
That's amazing. I'm sure you've seen a lot of them. What are some of the most common ways that people get in their own way in terms of their success and happiness?
They believe their thinking, meaning they have these thoughts that are going through their mind and they attach to them. They believe them. And next thing you know, they're running into a lot of problems. One of the things that I tell people is that thoughts are just thoughts. And thoughts are harmless until we believe them. That until we attach to them in some kind of emotional way, they have no power over us.
It's true.
There's the whole field of neuroplasticity, that idea that the brain is constantly changing and rewiring. That people with severe OCD, people with severe depression, people with these severe, what we would classify as mental illnesses or mental disorders, have been able in a matter of weeks to be able to rewire their brain to have a completely different life experience just with the power of their mind, no medicine.
Oh, wow.
If people with these severe mental illnesses could rewire their brain to have a completely different life experience in a matter of weeks. You can totally overcome that performance anxiety. You can totally make those changes that you want in your life, and it's a whole lot easier than you think. And I think it starts with recognizing that thoughts are just thoughts, and you don't have to believe everything you think.
But if we've forgotten what really makes us sing and dance at night, it's the people around and our dreams that lift us up.